Hey yo, welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another live stream. Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another live stream. Today we are going to talk about if Bitcoin has finally topped. Is this the beginning of a much bigger drop? I'm going to give you guys an update on the altcoin market. Altcoins continues to struggle, so I want to do some TA on a bunch of these altcoins, and we'll also talk about opportunities in this market. This is not going to be a long live stream, so make sure that you tune in. Try to stay with me. Probably no more than 25 to 40 minutes. This is not going to be a long live stream. So, yeah, I don't want to waste time. I want to jump straight to the point and talk about this market. But welcome back. Maybe I'll give it a few more minutes. Allow more people to join us. Allow you to settle. But I hope you are having an amazing weekend. I hope that you are having an amazing weekend. If this is your first time right here, I am going to ask that you please consider subscribing. I am going to ask that you hit that like button. Those are the things. Those are the things that I'm going to ask you. Those are the things that I'm going to ask you to do. Subscribe, hit the like button, and yeah, if you have some stuff that you would like me to analyze, put them in the chat. Put them in the chat if you have some stuff that you would like me to analyze. Once again, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. Welcome back. I hope you guys are having an amazing weekend. Wow, this is crazy. I hope you guys are having an amazing weekend. And yeah. Oh man, what is going on? Wow. What is going on? What is going on? Anyways, yeah, welcome back, guys. Let's jump into this market. Let's talk about Bitcoin and have we topped? I think we're about to get a daily close. Oh, actually, we already got one. We just had a daily close. I think we just got one. We already closed the daily. We now have a brand new daily candle. So let me talk about where things are right now. If Bitcoin has most likely top, and if you guys have any questions, just feel free to ask me. So I'm gonna start with Bitcoin. So we just had a daily close, and this is day 1, 2, 3, 4. This is day 4, consecutively red daily candles. So the question right now is, have we finally topped? Was this the top of this run, this entire run right here? And could this be the beginning of a much bigger drop? That is what I'm going to talk about. So, looking at this entire move right here from 80,000 to 97, $98,000. In my opinion, Bitcoin has been in a bear flag. All right, a bear flag is not a bullish pattern. It is bearish, but it's not a bear flag until we get the confirmation, and the confirmation comes in once the price goes below this entire range. All right, so once we take out these lows right here, that will confirm to us that this was indeed a bear flag, because you have the leg down right here, you have the consolidation right here with higher highs, and higher lows. So once you lose the lows, once you lose the flag, that gives you a completion of the actual pattern. So right now this is not a bear flag, at least as of right now. But the characteristics, to me, 100% a bear flag. But we are going to have to wait for confirmation. Now, the bigger question is, have we finally topped? Like, was this the top? And is this is this the beginning of a much bigger drop? Or, is this not a top? Is this a healthy pullback? And are we going back into, the 98, $100,000 range? That to me is the question. And I'm going to give you guys my honest opinion. So, my honest opinion is this. Right now, I don't know if the top is in. All right. I don't know if this is the top. But I am going to say more than 50%, this could potentially be the top. And the reason is because, my outlook on BTC has always been that we were going to get a retest of the 21 weekly moving average. Now, when the price of Bitcoin got to very close to 98,000, we didn't really touch the 21 weekly moving average, but we don't have to touch it. And to me, this move was more than enough. To me, this move was more than enough. And not only that, we were able to retest, this resistance. This is a resistance I talked about so many times on this channel. And this is why I'm giving it a higher likelihood that maybe we have already topped. Now, the reason I also still think that the top may not be in is because, structurally speaking, we still have not took out the most recent lows, which would be, $89,000. So as long as the price is above $89,000, this is a healthy pullback. So what that means to me is that as long as the price is above $89,000, you still want to look at this as a healthy pullback. But the moment you go below 89,000, that confirms that 100%, BTC has already topped. Now, I'm going to give you my other opinion. My other opinion is this. If Bitcoin loses its 21 daily moving average, if we get a daily close below this 21 EMA, right now, we are talking about $92,000. To me, the probabilities of the top already being in is going to increase. And my reason is actually very simple. I am comparing, this entire structure. I'm comparing this entire structure right here, guys, to exactly this one from back in 2022. So I am comparing it to this one right here. All right. I am comparing that entire structure to this one right here. So if you think about this one right here, drop, bear flag, top is in, and then move, price goes down. And the reason I'm looking at a 21 daily is because the last time we had the same, the same basically pattern, the bear flag playing out, early in the last bear market. Once the price hit the local resistance, which was, you go from this top right here, connected to this one, gives you a nice trend line. Once we got rejected and we started pulling back and we lost the 21 daily moving average, this blue line right here, that was the top of the move. And this was the beginning of a much bigger drop. So I am looking at that and I'm saying to myself, if the price of BTC goes below this 21 daily, all right, if we lose this 21 daily moving average, I really don't have a reason to continue to believe that the top of this move is not already in, and this is not the beginning of a much bigger move. So I'm looking at that. I'm going to keep my eyes on that. And the other thing is that when you go back to the 4 hour, I am also keeping my eyes on the 200 moving average on the 4 hour. Again, going back to the last early stage of the last bear market, the same pattern. I want to go all the way back because I want to make sure you see exactly what I see. And I want to make sure you kind of, get the picture and what I'm trying to share with you guys. During the same consolidation, the same bear flag right here, putting a top right here, and then we got a pullback. Once we lost the 200 EMA, which was right here, around 43,000, that was it. We never regained the 200 moving average. Yes, we tried right here, but ended up getting rejected. And of course, the rest is history. So I'm also looking at that, keeping our eyes on the lower time frame, like the 4 hour. I'm looking at that right now, and I'm looking at the 200 moving average is currently around $91,800. So I am looking at that, and I'm saying to myself, once you lose this 200 EMA, like most likely it is over. But if you want to be on the safer side, wait until $89,000 is lost. But to me, chat, I gotta be very honest with you guys. Look, to me, Bitcoin does not look great. All right, BTC does not look great, and this is not something that I'm talking about for the very first time. I've spoke about this. If you look at my updates, I'm only bullish in the short term. I was only bullish from 87,000, up to the 21 weekly moving average. All right, I was not bullish from 85,000 and calling for 120,000, 150,000. That's not my stance, man. I don't believe in that. All right? Not because I don't want to believe in it. It's just because structurally I just don't see it. So this update is more of, have we actually completed this pattern? And I gotta be honest, look, there is nothing left. If we go back into $89,000 range, like, that is just, to me, is just a bonus. If we go back to 89,000, maybe $100,000, that's extra. Bitcoin's probably giving you extra, extra motivation, extra hope. You start believing that the bull market is intact, and this is the beginning of going back to all-time highs. But to me, we don't have to go back. Like, to me, the completion of the bear flag, it's not completed until $89,000 is lost. But from a point of view of this consolidation, like, this is it. We talked about RSIs, we talked about MACDs. I said to you, during a downtrend, overbought RSI, get out of your position. And that's exactly what we got. RSI on the daily. We got overbought. All right, we hit the 70s. And what's crazy is if you go back, all right, look, I'm really, really trying to show you what I'm seeing across, like what I'm seeing right now. Like, there is a lot of similarities. Look, the last time we had a similar consolidation, I'm calling it a bear flag. RSI was overbought. The moment BTC hit the top of this yellow line, and that was the end of it. This time, exactly the same. BTC, RSI, overbought, exactly the same moment we hit that yellow line. So to me, there's a very good chance, like, we could be, looking at the beginning of a much, much more aggressive drop. And if you're not prepared for it, if you don't have if you don't have a plan, you are planning on failing. All right, if you don't have a plan, you are planning on failing. Now, this doesn't have to play out. I can absolutely be wrong, but the more I look at the chart of Bitcoin, the more I look at this consolidation right here, I just think this is more than enough. And this is why, if you look at my recent updates on Bitcoin, I told you guys, hey, from $95,000, we are in the selling range. Like, you should be exiting right here. Don't think about jumping into positions. I told you guys right here, do not buy Bitcoin. And I did tell you right here, you need to buy Bitcoin. I literally told you guys, you need to buy Bitcoin right here. Right here, I told you not to get in. And the moment we got back here, I also told you guys, it is time to exit this position because this is where top is more likely to come in. And that prediction was not based on, my feelings on the market, my opinion that doesn't have anything to back it up. No, it was based on, we're more likely to go up, retest the 21 weekly. Don't wait for the price to get to the 20. Like, don't wait for the price to hit the 21 weekly. No, once you get closer to it, get out of your position. It is not worth it. So anyways, now I'm looking at this. And this is this is a brand new week, all right? Because we just had a weekly close. This is a weekly close right here. We just had a daily close. So just looking at this weekly right now, the last time, all right, we had a similar experience, which was right here. All right, now, this was the one that hit the top. This was the one that was rejected. So we had the next 2 weeks is when we lost the range. So I'm looking at this and I'm going to say to you, this is what I'm going to say to you. This week and next week, all right, we'll give it about 2 weeks. Let's see if the price of Bitcoin is going to still trading in this range right here, or if we are going to be somewhere below $89,000, or if we are going to be somewhere above $98,000. Within the next 2 weeks, we should have our answer. Within the next 2 weeks, we should know exactly where Bitcoin is. And I'm telling you right now, it's either we here or we somewhere up here. I don't think 2 weeks from now, the price of Bitcoin, this is my prediction, the market may be the market and we just might end up still trading in this range. But 2 weeks from now, I don't think BTC is between this $90,000 and $98,000. My prediction is that 2 weeks from now, either we're below $90,000 or we're above $98,000. That will be my prediction. And this prediction is based on just historical performance, based on the last bull market. Right here, after we got rejected, 2 weeks later, lost the range, and of course, price went much, 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 much lower. Something else I also talked about. Now, I don't want to get away from the short-term outlook because that is what I wanted to talk about. But something else, now this is going to be a separate analysis, next time I talk about this market. Something else that I also am going to focus on over the next couple of weeks is this 21 weekly moving average potentially crossing below the 50. That, going back to the last bear market, the last time we had, something like that, that took place right after price retested the 21 weekly. Now, the last retest, price went above the 21 weekly. So, I'm not ruling out a potential pump above the 21 weekly moving average, just in case the top is not in right now. But shortly after that, we had a death cross. So what I want to say is that sometimes in the near future, like sometimes very soon, a death cross is coming. And I don't think this is going to take many weeks. This is coming, and we will talk about this, and we will talk about the impact, and we will talk about, after a dev cross, percentage wise, how much do we normally drop? Anyways, just didn't want, look, yeah, I just spent about a good 16 minutes, talking about BTC potential top. I don't want to spend, the rest of this live stream on that. Let me spend the rest of this live stream talking about something else. But I do want to say that you need to be careful. I think if we lose, all right, I'm going to say this. If we lose these EMAs right here, look, if we lose this, I think most likely it is over. But if you want to be on the safer side, wait until price goes below $89,000. You see this golden cross right here where the 21, crossed above the 50. To me, this is a fake out. All right, I don't think this is going to amount to anything significant. I think this is nothing but a fake out, and these EMAs will continue trending down for for a very long time. If we go back to, I keep coming back here. If we go back to the last bull market or the last bear market, if we come back right here, all right, same thing right here, guys. Look, you get a golden cross, but that was a fake out. And then, back down, business as usual, and, the rest is history. So, yeah, look, hopefully I was able to provide some value with that analysis. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. If you have any project that you are very passionate about, you see some value in the project, and you want my honest opinion, put them in the chat, guys. All right, put them in the chat. This is why I am here. I am here to be your resource, and so don't be afraid. Okay, do not be afraid at all. All right, I want to spend the next however more minutes we have talking about altcoins, because listen, it's dark out there. It is dark out there when it comes to altcoins. So let me start with altcoins, and I'm gonna start with Zcash. I'm actually going to look. I'm very generous, so I will share with you guys what my outlook is on Zcash. I'm gonna get rid of this. I want to make sure that this looks really good to me. All right, Zcash, ladies and gentlemen, is in a long-term pullback. If you ask me, at least, I'm looking at Zcash right now, and if you watch my update on Zcash recently, what I say to you was, this is a bear flag. And I thought, we lost the flag right here. This was a bounce of this breakdown. Finally, we have put in a top. And I think this is the beginning of a big drop. Now, we are going to have some local resistance around $300, which is right here. So don't be surprised if we get some sort of a reaction. I don't know how this is going to react, but we don't have to. We could potentially just slice through the support and continue all the way down. Anyhow, my prediction is the Zcash is basically coming all the way down here into this, maybe like $220 to $180 range. I think this is exactly where we are heading. In fact, I am willing, I'm very confident in shorting Zcash right here, with a stop loss just maybe right above this high right here around 448, 450. Or even, if I'm looking at these EMAs right here, short it with a stop loss. You can even put a stop loss just right above $400. So a trade like this will look exactly like this. So this is an entry profit target. We're going out. Look, you can go after this one, but I think it goes way lower. You can do your profit target. Let's just say $240. Just to be safe. And you have your stop loss just right above $400. So just right above this 21 EMA. This is a position where you're going after some 30% profits. Your risk is about 10%. So basically putting 3 profits to the risk is just 1. All right. This is a really good trade. But anyways, in terms of TA, Zcash does not look good. All right. Absolutely not. And, I've gave you updates throughout this entire drop. I told you the moment we lost, this range around $440, $450. I told you Zcash was not looking good. When you get into the rest of the market, I mean, look, it's just chat. It doesn't have to be. The beauty of this is that it doesn't have to be complicated. Right? Honestly, guys, it doesn't have to be complicated. You can use some EMAs and simply just stay on the sideline. As long as I know that if this blue line is below the green line and the price is below the blue line, I'm not bullish on the project. Like, this is literally technical analysis 101 if you are using moving averages. You should only be bullish on an asset if price is above your moving averages and when your short-term moving average are above your long-term moving average. Like, there is nothing to be bullish about when it comes to Dogecoin. Okay, you can try to play with different stuff, but as long as this is the look of Dogecoin, this is not good. All right, this is not good. The only way you should be playing Dogecoin is shorting the heck of the project. Like, honestly, it doesn't have to be that complicated. All right, we don't have to get into different methods, different strategies, different ways of reading technical analysis. It doesn't have to get there. All right, simplicity is going to get the job done. So, I mean, I looked at these altcoins. Look, Sui, I told you guys, it's not looking good. All right. Long term, remember, the long term setup is what drives, all right, price movement. In the short term, it's anybody's guess. In the short term, of course, price goes to, whatever target, who cares? But give it enough time. All right, give it enough time. When you give it enough time, the long-term trends are always where value is. So, you look at Sui on the weekly. What is there to like about Sui? Sui was extremely oversold on the weekly. Price goes from around, almost $5 straight down to around $1.30. Of course, there's going to be some positive reaction. Of course, we are either going to get closer to the 21 weekly moving average or we are going to hit the 21 weekly. If we overextend it, we are going to try the 50 weekly, right? Like, these are the things that we've talked about. But the overall picture just doesn't change because when the price is below your moving averages and when your short-term moving averages are below your long-term moving average, what you have is an asset that is in a clear downtrend and what you see is higher highs and higher lows. So if we remove, the moving averages, what you see right here is nothing but, an asset that is trading like this. This is your low right here. This is another. This is your lower high. This is your another lower high right here. This is your, low right here. This is your lower low right here. So what this move is most likely to accomplish is another lower low. So meaning price could potentially come back to around 47 cents. All right. This is not hating on a project. This is just looking at what it actually is and literally, all right, literally calling out what it actually is. And that is an asset that is in a clear downtrend. And targets, look, maybe targets don't mean anything, but it's a raw map. It's something that we can go off of. All right, we don't just want to, we don't just want to, freestyle and, not have any ideas or any approach. We want to have some sort of, all right, there's a plan in place. All right, these are targets. And these are targets based on, something that's backing it. If that is a support that was put in, sometimes in the past, all right, there's a reason we look at that. It's a level that is respected. This is where profits was taken and price reversed. Or this is where buyers stepped in and price reversed back to the upside. But anyways, altcoins, I hate to say this because I literally just put out a video and the title of the video is, altcoins are actually dead. And it's not like they're not dead forever, but they are going to be dead for a while. It is time to move on, at least for the time being. And you moving on, not because, you don't like altcoins, but simply because there is opportunities in this market. All right, not crypto specifically. There is opportunities if you look elsewhere. If you go into the stock market, even if you go into the miners, you look at CleanSpark. Look, CleanSpark is establishing a potential uptrend. You look at Riot. All right, we talked about Riot, guys. I gave you Riot back in the $10 range. Well, we are still in the $10, but in the low $10 range. Around $11, $12. You look at Riot, look at the price, man, almost $20. Look at this daily candle. Look at this weekly. So there is opportunities in places like this. And instead of having dollars, instead of having your capital tied up in things that look like this, why not put that same capital in things that look like this? Even if your entry is terrible. As long as the market is trending up, you are going to be fine. You just got to hold on to your position. So, hopefully that is helpful. But in terms of altcoins, is really, really nothing out there. Chat, are you with me? Are you with me or not? Anyways. So, and remember, guys, when it comes to these bear market rallies, these bear market rallies are 100% needed because this is the few that sends the price way, way lower, man. This is the few that will send SUI, all the way down into this 50, 40 cents range that I'm basically predicting. Don't get caught up in any of these traps. Look, this is a trap right here. To me, this is a trap. I don't want to say I guarantee you, but what I want you guys to take a look at is that there is not a single consolidation has looked like this throughout this entire uptrend, during a bull market. The consolidations look like this. They don't look like this. All right, look at this one right here. It's a clear bullish consolidation. This one right here, guys, it's a bearish consolidation. Look, even this one, if you look at it in totality, this is a bearish consolidation. All right, even this right here, I can actually look at this and say, hey, this is actually a bear flag. All right, just bigger compared to this one right here. All right. This brother in the chat, I don't know what's going on. What is going on, man? Drink some water. Let's be positive here. You don't have to like the analysis. Look, if you want to buy, go buy. All right, if you want to buy, go buy, my friend. Same guy who said Jasmine was going to. Buddy, you got to learn technical analysis. You got to learn technical analysis. I think this is. I don't know what kind of investor you are, to be very honest with you. All right, Jasmine. Let me show you Jasmine right here. What is Jasmine? You got to learn technical analysis, man. And you got to take the L and don't blame nobody but yourself. Look, we were accumulating Jasmine right here. All right. We were accumulating Jasmine right here. This was the accumulation phase. We were accumulating Jasmine right here. This was back in 2022. And my prediction was that Jasmine was going to go to 30 cents. Now, question is, why was I predicting that? Well, I was predicting that because in the last bull market, all right, the price of Jasmine, because I remember because I was trading Jasmine, the price of Jasmine was in the 30s. So I looked at the chart and I said to myself at the time, the market cap was only $1 million. I said to myself that if retail comes back the same way it did in the last bull market, all right, a $100 million token like Jasmine, market cap, $100 million market cap, and I was looking at 30 cents, my thinking was that, all right, going back to 30 cents is something that is achievable. All right. It's something that is achievable in this upcoming bull market. And you know what that meant to me was that building a position right here early on in the bull market was going to yield great returns if the price of Jasmine can go back to 30 cents. Now, this is where you messed up. Because I made the prediction, you took it to the bank and you probably went all in Jasmine, thinking that the price is 100% going to 30 cents. Guys, listen, I don't control the market. All right. I don't control the market. I predict the price based on what I think what that particular asset could potentially do. All right. The prediction, look, is just a number. You can predict targets. You can come up with your own prediction. All right. Who doesn't make a prediction? You can make a prediction that, so and so stock is going to $500 when it's trading around $10. Who cares about that? But prediction doesn't really mean anything. You got to have a plan. And if you remember, you're going to say you don't remember this because, that's probably what you are going to say. But if you remember, when the price of Jasmine went up and then we had these pullbacks and then we lost 15, do you know what I said at the time? I said, guys, I no longer believe the Jasmine is going to my 30 cents target. And because of that, all right, I am now bearish on Jasmine purely based on technical analysis. The same way, all right, when I was buying Jasmine, my entry was based on technical analysis because when I looked at this range, it became very clear to me that we were putting in a bottom. And when we broke above the 21 weekly moving average, it became clear to me that we were establishing an uptrend is exactly the same reason I exit the position. All right, when the trend is over, you get out. So if you bought and you hold because 30 cents was, I guess, promised to you, I'm sorry, man. You can only blame yourself. All right, you got to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you are planning on failing. All right, I don't care what investment that you have. I don't care where you invest in. All right, none of your targets, none of what your thesis, like none of that matters. At the end of the day, the market is the ultimate referee. It doesn't matter how much research you do. It doesn't have to be technical analysis. It could be fundamental research. You can research a company and think because of whatever they got going on is going to be one of the most bullish stock that you ever own. But at the end of the day, the market doesn't care about your research. The market doesn't care about your thesis on the company. No, the market is going to do whatever the market is going to do. All right. Look, there's millions of investors out there who predicted that Tesla was going to go bust. But guess what? Tesla went on to go up 20x, 40x, 50x. And there's investors out there who have predicted that so-and-so company was going to do this. But guess what? Probably those stocks really haven't done anything. So it's the same thing with Jasmine. Now, my prediction is based on technical analysis. And the moment a trend is lost, look, I'm the first one to say, guys, get out of this one. All right, based on my TA, I don't believe any of this stuff is going to happen. But anyways, man, look, I do apologize if you feel some type of way, but the market is the market. The market is rough. And hopefully you're not a bag holder. You should not be a bag holder. If you think this is the right time to buy altcoins, if you think this is the right time to buy Jasmine, hey, go ahead. All right, start building your position, and hopefully, it turns out well. Hopefully you do make crazy profits. Otherwise, what else can I say? What else can I say? Oh my God, man. What is going on? Okay, let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this because unbelievable. But I do appreciate, smash the like button and let's keep on going. So, yeah, guys, look, man, there's really not much to talk about out there. In terms of what altcoins are in an uptrend, right now, you only got XMR. All right, XMR is the only, well, not the only one. It's among a few altcoins that are actually in an uptrend. And then you also have Dash. All right, Dash is another one. This is a big drop right here. But if you go to the monthly, you can clearly see Dash looks really good. Price is at least right now trending up. But the rest of the market, I mean, it's just not looking good. So, yeah, appreciate you guys for tuning in. This is the end of the stream. We'll do another one probably